artists and art teachers, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to do this really easy negative space drawing watercolor and marker mixed media art lesson. But before I get started, I just wanted to real quick introduce myself and let you know what you can find here on my YouTube channel. So I'm Lauren. I've been teaching high school and middle school art for 26 years. And in those 26 years, I have learned a lot of things, what to do and what not to do. And through the years, things have really changed. It's lots different in the art room now than it was years ago. A few years ago, I realized things were getting kind of lonely in the art room, and I kind of needed someone to help me, really. I just needed more hands. I needed to be in more places at once. Kids were absent all the time, would miss demonstrations. Kids would leave the classroom for sports, and I found myself spending tons and tons of time reintroducing things, going over the same things over and over again, and I was really kind of struggling. So then I didn't have anyone to turn to, so I started creating basically things like resources that would help me be another me. I started creating video demonstrations and slideshows, so if students were absent or needed a review, I could give them a handout that they could scan the worksheet or scan the step-by-step instructions. They could see those slideshows and video demos right from their own devices. I could upload them right to Google Classroom, and it has been a serious game changer. I started creating lots and lots of these, and I just decided I needed to share them. I share video tutorials here on YouTube. On my blog, you can find step-by-step project instructions, tips, tutorials, project ideas. You can find all the materials, slideshows, and all of that stuff in either my shop on InsideOutArtTeacher.com or my Teacher by Teacher shop. Hopefully you can find something on my YouTube channel, on my blog, or in my shop to help make your life as an artist or art teacher easier and save you time and frustration. Let's get to it. So when we start this project, I make sure I have my students tape out a nice border for their watercolor. When I have them tape, I have either the painter's tape, which is kind of expensive, so this is just something I had in my own studio. When I do it with students, we use regular masking tape, but I have them stick it to their clothes and get it full of lots and lots of lint before they tape out their project. And if they have trouble taking it off, a little bit of heat with like a blow dryer will help, because you just don't want it to stick to the paper. So that lint trick works really, really well. So when they do the watercolor, we use large brushes and we stick to analogous colors to start. Colors that are close to each other on the color wheel. Because this is one of our first projects, I don't go into too much color theory just yet. I really just want them to get their feet wet, so I have them stick with similar colors and let the colors bleed. So we keep it really, really wet, and I do have to walk around. You will see some students like trying to brush and control and going too dark, but I just have to really walk around and catch them real quick and make them not afraid to use the water and let it bleed and let it puddle. In the beginning, they're really, like, they enjoy it, but they're afraid of messing up. So it's just, reassuring. Okay, so the next thing is you want to find a reference image that is really, really simple, like a silhouette. And then you have them sketch that out on scrap paper. We use the X-grid method. I have another video that explains that. I don't want this to be too long. I'll link that below if you don't know how to use the X-grid. And then we transfer it onto good paper. So you can use either graphite or charcoal. To be honest, I usually use graphite with beginners just because the charcoal gets really, really messy and kind of all over the place. With my advanced, smaller classes, I'll work with the charcoal, but my beginning classes are usually really, really big. Then I have the students trace their drawing onto the watercolor paper. So this is a project that actually I do sometimes with oil pastel. I just this year did it with marker, only because I had a lot of markers and I felt like it wasn't going to be as messy and it was a little bit easier to control than the oil pastel. So actually some classes I used oil pastel and some classes I used marker, just for a little excitement and variation. Okay, so once the image is transferred onto the watercolor background, then we used either an analogous darker colored marker, and I'm using Sharpie here, but this year I just used those those big, fat, cheap Crayola markers, and they looked amazing. So the students choose whether they want to color the background, the negative space, or the image, the positive space. In this crab drawing, I am using my Sharpie marker. It's all I had. And I am actually taking my time, even though it looks like I'm going really, really fast because this video is sped up. But anyway, this project can be done with a couple different materials. You can give the kids some options. The ending is the best part. Taking off the tape is just so rewarding and kids love it. And they were super, super proud of their work. This is one of the first ever drawing projects that they do. I like to use mixed media in the beginning because it can kind of guarantee some amazing results. The loose watercolor looks really awesome with the super controlled marker, or I guess oil pastel is kind of loose too, but it's a little bit easier to control than watercolor at first. But the combination just is no fail, and the kids love them. And if you keep the color scheme simple, they look super amazing displayed and exhibited all together. So that's it. If you have any mistakes, and there will be sometimes the paint bleeds through the side, kids have the option. They can add a border if they want to, but that's it.